Hi, I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. What did I just tell you? I have a little guest here again who coughs and sneezes in the background. Okay. At the board meeting this week, we had an announcement about Arbor Day. Arbor Day is today. Is today April 27th? Yes, it's today. Is. And there's a seedling giveaway at the landfill at the Murph area tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 a.m. to noon. And lots of cool seedlings. I got a rundown on it from the town arborist this morning. We also have a number of committee, board, and commission vacancies that are coming up. Appointments are made in June. The whole schedule and the application is on the town's website. So if you're interested in a volunteer opportunity with the town, please go check out what's available. We heard a bit about an initiative called Asset-Based Community Development, ABCD workshops, which actually took place this week. And this has to do with citizens getting together and discussing assets and needs for improvement in the community in terms of human service related items. I hope I got that right. That's what it was.
Is this new or is this?
This is a new approach. We have been doing what's called the community needs assessment through the town about it roughly every 5 years for a while now. However, most recently we didn't do a full-blown community needs assessment because a group called the Community Foundation of Nantucket was hoping that they would do it. Funding, I think, fell through for that. It's not a tiny little expense. It's a bit of an expense to do this community needs assessment if you're going to do it right. And this is just a different approach. So I think we're going to see how this goes. Anyway, that happened during the week.
I mean, are there specific things that we need to be aware
Well,
of?
the community needs assessment identifies things like dental needs for children.
Oh, I see.
Need for food pantry. Need for different types of suicide prevention. There you go. Mm-hmm. Things like that.
Okay.
In any event, that was going on this week. The board had a continued item from the prior week regarding the expansion of serving hours for the Jetties Beach concession. And to make a long story short, they ended up approving it for a year and they're going to revisit it in a year. So the hours down there go from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. to 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. So you can have whatever down there at 11 a.m. You can hang out for a little while longer. Maybe we could have the selectmen's meetings there. We could have mudslides and stuff. That'd be cool. Okay, we also had a carryover from the prior week for a change of manager and some other corporate changes for Faith's Seafood Shack, which is the former Rotary restaurant. And that was tabled again because the applicants or the people could not be there. We had a bunch of real estate yard sale issues. Under the town manager's report, we had a...
Can I ask you about the yard sale issue? What's that?
Oh, that is a program that the town that's been implemented for a while now, where sometimes there are tiny little pieces of town-owned land adjacent to private property. The town can't do anything with it; it's too small. But it's not on the tax rolls or anything like that, and nobody really, we own it, but we don't have a use for it. So we've been putting it out to bid, and the abutters can bid on it and add it to their property. Goes back on the tax rolls. Sometimes there are restrictions with development, but it can also add ground cover to their property for a second dwelling purpose or something like that.
Do they get a deal on this property?
They have to bid, and the board will set a minimum bid.
Yep.
So it's over a period of time, it's adding property to the tax rolls and kind of cleaning up these little slivers of town land that have developed over the years. We heard from the DPW director for her second and third quarter reports for the fiscal 12, the current fiscal year, Sewer Enterprise Fund and Solid Waste Enterprise Fund. We discussed a proposed scope of service for the Nantucket Energy Office. Last year we had a grant from Remain that funded a Nantucket Energy Office, and we hired 2 contractors basically to work on a variety of energy related programs for the town.
They had an office?
They had an office, yeah. It's an office in the Mooney building, the town-owned building.
I see, okay.
But the individual is paid for through the grant.
Yep.
in any case, we talked about renewing that grant, but with a refined scope of services. So that's been tabled to next week because we had some discussion. There were some questions, some concerns that needed to be answered between then and now and then. We also discussed parking regulations and enforcement hours, and there were some different ideas about this. That was continued to next week as well. And I reported out to the board on a reorganization of the Marine Department. And basically, the Marine Superintendent is becoming the Emergency Management Coordinator. That's Dave Franzuto. Dave will focus more on emergency management planning, which the town has a definite need for, as well as the other various marine-related plans that he's been working on, including the Coastal Management Plan, the Shellfish Management Plan, and the Harbor Plan. He will spend less time on day-to-day operations. The harbor master will become Sheila Lucy, who's the assistant now, and she will oversee the day-to-day operations of the Marine Department's activities, moorings, buoys, lifeguard program, maintenance of the town pier and associated things. Dave will remain the overseer up here of all of that. And the office administrator, Catherine Tovey, moved to 4FG. She's still, it's a kind of an internal consolidation of the Marine Department with the police department. It's kind of a public safety consolidation. That's the nature of it. Catherine moved out there. She will issue shellfish permits and other Marine Department permits from there, as well as beach driving permits and other permits that the police department issues. And these actions combined will improve efficiency. We believe it will improve service and address needs of the town that haven't really been able to be addressed as well as they could be until we develop the consolidation. These will be largely invisible to the public, and they became effective this past week. There was an editorial in the paper yesterday, are you paying attention to me, about this, and there were some kind of strange comments in the editorial, as if something has been done wrong with this consolidation, this reorganization. I'm trying to figure out what's been done wrong. We've met with the union. It's not costing more money. No, there's people are losing their positions. It's a change, and I think there are some growing pains among a variety of people about how this will affect their work and their jobs, and it's a change. We've been talking about changing the structure and the management of town government for 5 years now, four to 5 years, and we've been saying all along the way, we're changing the way we do business. That was our theme for the past couple of budget years. So change can sometimes be a little bit difficult, and that's just kind of how it is. But we think that the service will improve, and ultimately people will be happy with it. So anyway, moving on, we also did another consolidation last year, which was to incorporate the Park and Rec department into the DPW. And the former Park and Rec director, Jimmy Manchester, has been made the town's facilities manager. He will oversee municipal property, municipal buildings, so that includes the playing fields, which he was already overseeing, and more focused by a knowledgeable individual about facilities for public buildings. So we think it's all good, by the way, and that nothing was done wrong or suspicious or whatever about this. Okay.
So it's going to happen.
Yes, it's happened, basically, already. The board always, every week, reports on its, they have their own little reports. They've been to a committee meeting, or they're part of a committee or a board. We had an audit committee report. We had a coastal management plan work group report, and a couple of airport-related updates. So that was all this week. Next week, don't be surprised if I'm not there. I will be on, quote, vacation next week, and I will not be attending the meeting. Greg will attend in my stead. We have a resignation, couple of personnel issues. That Faith Seafood Shack item again that was tabled. We have a public a request for a waiver from the sanitary sewer policy, which comes up from time to time. It's fairly straightforward. We are getting an update from Jimmy Manchester about the Nobadeer playing field project. He's going to come in and tell us how it's going, when people can play on the fields, which, by the way, will not be until 2013. If you have to grow, there needs to be a good, solid growing season. So that has to happen first.
Are we talking? No,
Nobody
we're
or
not talking about
Farm
the
Road.
Yeah, but what about
No, the artificial turf field is going to be a while. That
Oh,
just
it
got
is?
approved, yeah, because we have to, it's a long story, but
All right.
that money has to be borrowed and the payments will come from CPC funds, but that wasn't budgeted for fiscal 13, so we have to, that's going to be more of a fiscal 14 item. These things came up all kind of the think through at the last minute. The board is going to have a discussion as well about airport capital projects and revenue ideas. And then the following week, the board wants to know a little bit more about the airport's capital projects. What do we really, really need? What can we put off? And what might we be able to modify for less money? So there's some active discussion about that. And the airport has come forward with some various revenue enhancement ideas. So they're going to have a discussion about that. And then the board is scheduled right now anyway to take action or a specific position on any of this at the following week's meeting. We have a request for a public hearing to make Cherry Street one-way eastbound. So that is the street, what is the direction of that?
It's the other one that's not on Cumberland Farms.
It's the other, it's the other one over from the Cumberland Farms.
Yeah.
That's two-way now. So the idea is to make it one-way going the opposite way of the Cumberland Farms Road, Williams Street, Williams Lane. I seem to think in the past it might have been one-way. I can't really remember. Anyway, the request is to schedule a public hearing on this, and we would notify the abutters, and it would be advertised as a public hearing. But the board will discuss whether or not they want to do that at the next week's meeting. We're also going to have a specific update from the Coastal Management Plan Work Group. So there is a lot of stuff going on. Remember last week I said there was a kind of a lull? That's over. After town meeting, gone.
Yeah.
So do you know it's going to be a really, really busy weekend, hopefully here on the island with daffodil weekends going on. You know, I said in the paper this week, the question of the week thing, what's your favorite thing about daffodil weekend? Did you notice that I was in there this week?
I haven't seen the paper yet.
Okay, well, I was featured. I was one of the answerers.
Of course.
And my favorite thing about daffodil weekend is my dad's fire truck. It is really my favorite thing. But
Definitely.
I don't know if I'm going to make it down to ride on the fire truck. I got a lot of stuff going on Saturday. You know how it is.
I do.
It's busy.
Very busy.
But it's a fun, fun weekend. And the clean team, looking at my notes, will be activating at Mill Hill Park this Saturday, tomorrow at 8 a.m.
And what about the next Saturday? Because that one is...
Yeah, you're right. I do not recall.
How do people get information about that?
Clean Team, ACKCleanTeam.org.
Okay.
They can go there and look at it. I think, you know what, I think I saw it in the INM this week too.
Okay.
So it is featured in there. So I think that's about it. What are you hearing?
Everybody's
Busy?
excited.
Everybody's excited.
Oh yeah, there's
Good.
more positive energy than
Oh,
there has
good,
been in a long
finally,
time.
because sometimes there's a little bit too much negative energy around
Yeah,
here. We're all about the positive
You
here
bet.
in our office.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. See you next time.